this is actually a special forum, a joint forum between the College of Business and the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs. So just a few reminders, housekeeping reminders. We, of course, have our colleagues here with us in the audience, but I suspect that we also have other colleagues joining us remotely. So for those who are joining us remotely, please, participate. And we actually have an opportunity for the remote attendees to ask questions as well. We'll hold the questions until the end of the presentation. But for those of you remotely, if you'd like to ask questions, please send an email to orsp@uwec.edu. We have folks monitoring that email address, and we can pass those questions on to our speaker. All right? So without further ado, let me introduce the speaker for today, Dr. Jidong Zhang. He's an assistant professor in the Accounting and Finance department here on campus. And thank you very much for joining us today and sharing some of your work.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to presentation today. Hope everybody stayed warm. I drive 3 hours to here. Usually I drive 2 hours, but the weather condition is very bad. So thank you. I appreciate your attendance today. Today I just share this research topic actually hold in my hand for 15 years. I worked on this topic when I was PhD candidate. And the reason why I did not publish this research, because of, you look at my title, it's a strategic choice of CPA firm in merger and acquisition transaction, and their role actually greedy or ethics. This word is not welcomed in industry. That's the reason why this research still holding in my head. But I would like to share and throw breaks and share my thoughts and idea, and any comments, suggestion will come. And please help us to improve our research and expect to be published in future. Okay, so I will start my presentation, and any question, please stop me at any time. I will come. So today, this is the agenda. Today I want to talk about, first I talk about why we have this research. And then I will introduce the research environment and what happened in reality and why we have this research. And second, third one, I will talk about the prior studies and how about academic research and ideas, thoughts on similar topic. And then I will provide our hypothesis development and to talk about our idea and thoughts on this topic. Then I will introduce my research design and our empirical results, conclusion and application. I think the most important for us is conclusion and applications because of our topic. Firstly, I talk about our research background. We talk about our top research actually focuses on merger and acquisition transaction. Merger and acquisition transaction traditional is acquirer provide a bid to the target firm, and then target firm have a offer to the acquirer. That's usually merger acquisition happen. That's a normal procedure. But the reality is acquirer usually will hire a CPA firm as a financial consultant. This CPA firm would like to do research on the target firm and provide some financial advices to the acquirer. In the reality, usually this CPA firm will hired by acquirer, and this CPA firm will organize a team, research team, to delegate to the target firm to do the field work and to do estimation of target firm's value and to do some like risks assessment and internal control assessment, and then bring this opinion and the conclusion from target firm back, and then give suggestion to acquirer. Usually in this period, CPA firm will give an offer, estimation of value of the target firm, and give suggestion to acquirer. Target firm not full, right? Target firm also will hire CPA firm, professional CPA firm, to send the team to acquiree company and to do the similar job like the CPA firm did. For what? Just wanted to bring the acquirers objectives of intention, acquisition intention back to the target firm. And then target firm can offer a reasonable price to sell them. That's a reality, what happened in merger acquisition procedure. But we have exception. We made some exception. In reality is acquirer don't hire the CPA firm, and the target firm also don't hire the CPA firm. They would like to share the same CPA firm to do this job. That's a very exceptional. It happened in the merger acquisition transaction. That's our research question. We wanted to know why they. But what happened in reality? If they shared this auditor, CPA firm provides similar services, the reality is fraud and scandal. This is a recent case. KPMG was fined $80 million in the UK because of KPMG as a CPA firm rules in merger acquisition and intended to underestimate the target firm's value and help the acquirer to complete the merger acquisition. And the result in this case, the target firm result to claim the bankruptcy in final because of the KPMG's unethical services in this transaction. That's not the only case. KPMG have this similar job. KPMG have the similar things happened in market before. This is 2022. And also was fined $4 million because commissioning audit filings reached the settlement and paid a loss to the target firms. Also occurred in the United Kingdom. Now the KPMG, and we also have a Deloitte. We also have the PwC. This is all fraud occurred in the merger acquisition transaction because of a CPA firm's unethical services. That's our research in motivation. We wanted to know how the CPA firm to work during the merger acquisition transaction. That's also our research context. So our research provided the research question is should be very, very careful of CPA firm provide shared services during the merger acquisition transaction. That's our research question in this paper. Should be warning. Okay, so I would like to review the private study. Actually, to my knowledge, I'm the first scholar to find this phenomenon in the research area. This is my working paper when I was PhD candidate and worked with my PhD advisor. We already found the post-merger performance and corporate value significantly decrease if acquiree and acquiree shared the auditor. If they share this auditor in the merger acquisition transaction. Our finding is if they share the auditor, CPA firm will intend to help the party who would like to offer good price to CPA firm. The effect is the most significant. This shared auditor was one of big N. That's our finding here. That's the reason why we cannot publish this paper. Yes, we do have a positive effect research. I already posted this working paper on SSRN in 2009 because it's hard for us to publish this paper because of this result in my mind. And we presented our finding in several conferences and not welcomed and argued by the scholars. So I would like to share my research online free. So following research, this publication and find the positive effect and published. They find that shared investor auditors and shared director can reduce information asymmetry and improve the quality of merger acquisition. This paper published in the top journal in accounting. And this paper in 2016 found that the share auditor can reduce information asymmetry and also improve the merger acquisition quality. This paper, I think recently published in the Journal of Accounting and Economics, found firms with shared auditor more likely to be the target of merger acquisition. All these current publications favor the shared auditor, except my paper. I provide a negative. I don't recommend it. Our research don't recommend it shared auditor during the merger acquisition transaction. So, what's our theory? I just want to provide two theories to explain our ideas here. First one is a dual agency theory. In merger acquisition, if we shared auditor, actually all CPA firm is a dual agent in the merger acquisition transaction. Just like a dual agent in the real estate market. In the real estate market, research find dual agency was damaging the seller's value. That's a similar finding with my paper. And it is assumed that dual agent have an informational advantage, not resolve the information asymmetry problem. Because this dual agent have the informational advantage between target firm and acquiree firm, so superior knowledge of buyer's demand curve could allow the agent to negotiate a higher sale price. And that's a higher commission for the seller. That's a real estate market research. For the seller than a non-dual agent. And in real estate market, many empirical studies discuss the problem of dual agency and find that the dual agency reduce the sale price and generate a higher premium for the acquiree company. Conclusion that they are reasonable to expect the dual agency give the dual agents more information about their client's reservation price. Agents could then potentially explore their information by matching the buyer, seller, and sale price different from achieved without dual agency. That means in real estate market, if we use the dual agency to provide the services, this dual agent will have the information advantage between target and acquiree firm, and they so provide the renting thinking opportunity to CPA firm. Which part provided offered a good price to CPA firm, he would be help any party possible. We also have another theory foundation from strategy. It's a structural whole theory. Structural theory that's explained the social network, and they explain if two groups, the node connect two groups, it's a structural whole in a society. This node have an information advantage and help these two groups to communicate information. So this node is positioned between the two groups very critical in our society. In social network research, they already find that this node in our society is popular is a CPA firm and a law firm. Law firm and CPA firm take this structure whole. So what happened? The current structure whole theory literature find this connected node, they call it a structure whole spanner, take advantage of both information and control benefits if they have responsibility to communicate the information between two groups. And a CPA firm come back to our research context. CPA firm in the merger and acquisition transaction, they just take this position if we shared this auditor. So that's our hypothesis development theory foundation. Firstly, from due diligence theory, we recommended don't share the auditor because it will be reduce the seller's price, seller's value, and will hurt the target firm. Just like we saw in the reality. KPMG as a shared auditor between the two companies and intended to underestimate the target firm's value and result target firm to be bankrupt later. And the acquiree firm buy this target firm in very cheap price. A second theory is a structural theory. We do believe CPA firm take the structural whole position in our society and have a duty and responsibility to do some ethical behavior, right? But they also have incentive. If they take this critical position in the social network, CPA firm also have opportunity to do some rent thinking. So completely, now in this case, completely caught on the CPA firm's ethicals. Challenge the CPA firm's ethicals. But we don't think it doesn't make sense CPA firm to do ethical behavior when CPA firm take the structural whole spanner position between the target firm and the acquiree firm. So we have this hypothesis. Hypothesis one, we do believe shared auditor decrease the shareholders' long-term value of target firm after the deal. And we also provide this second hypothesis is if this shared auditor is a big N, this effect is most significantly. That means decrease the long-term shareholders' long-term value of target firm. Second hypothesis we provide is a shared auditor has a positive relationship to the short-term market performance for the target firm. Because in private study, positive effect, they find that the shared auditor can contribute to the merger acquisition and improve the merger acquisition quality. They all use the short-term performance as a dependent variable. And then they find, okay, if we share the auditor, they have a positive signal to the market because shared auditor can have can help the merger acquisition completely immediately and timely. So the market reaction is very significant. So they said, okay, if we shared auditor, there's a positive effect to merger acquisition performance. We also test this hypothesis in our research using the short term. So what's our research design? Simple and data, we collect the merger and acquisition transaction data from 1992 to 2007. Why is it stopped in 2007? Because after 2007, the merger acquisition transaction did not disclose the CPA firm information anymore in both sides. I did not know why. But the prior study, whatever my study and the other scholar study, the samples all were stopped here this year, 2007. So I do believe that's a normal schedule. I do not know why they do not want to disclose CPA firm services after 2007. But I will talk about the story here. Maybe my guess, because 2008 is financial crisis, and another act was issued from Capitol Hill. CPA firm would not like to disclose their information in merger acquisition transaction anymore. So total observation we earned is 2,208, and we got this data from a fact set. This data set our university owned, and I get a lot of help from my colleagues. Mark Elf, he helped me to collect this data. We do have a robust test from different database, audit analytics. We are still working on that. Research model, we will test the post performance, and that's a dependent variable. In dependent variable, we use the shared auditor, dummy variable. We provide some control variables following the prior research. So post the performance dependent variable, we have three. We designed three. First, for long-term performance, we use the enterprise's value of completion to measure the change in value that target shareholders were to receive after the deal. And we also use a post-merger ownership percentage target owned after the deal. We wanted just to check financial consequence to target firm's shareholder and governance consequence to target firm's shareholder. And we'll see what happened to the target shareholder's value. Short term, we follow prior study. Post performance, we use the cumulative abnormal return in 5 days time window. Dependent variable, we choose two. One is the same accountant. Dummy variable, if it is one, that means acquiree and the target firm choose the same auditor, shared CPA firm. And 0 is otherwise. And in this sample, we still classified this same accountant into big N or non-big N. It's a dummy variable. One is two firms have the same auditor, and this auditor is a big four. I just talk big four. No offense to big four, but I would like to say it's a big four. We do select the big four. We also have the control variable, and this control variable, we follow the prior study, control the transaction value, acquiree value, target firm value, target size, because we wanted to test the target firm's shareholders' values loss. So we control the industry and the financial leverage and announce of the date. Our result, first one is test the dependent variable is long-term and the enterprise's value of completion, target firm's value. And we empirical study result find it's negative. It's support our hypothesis and significant at 95% level. We in this study, we just in this result actually we think the same content maybe have many interaction with other variable. So later we also provided a robust test to do some advanced test. But in this result, we look at the negative effect, same content to the target firm's value after the deal. Then we try the big four. If it's a big N, same auditor is a big N, it's the most significant and negative to the target firm's enterprise's value after the deal. We also try the acquiree's firm's value after the deal, and it showed positive. That means acquiree earned the benefits from the shared auditor. I did not post this result this time, but I will to do advanced test. And we also use the post-merger ownership percentage target firm occupied in the merged company. And if it's the same accountant, shared auditor, yes, that's a negative to the target firm shareholders' control rights. Statistically significant. And if this firm is shared auditor is a big four, yes, that's a significant negative to impact on the control rights of the target firm's shareholder. Now for the second hypothesis, we test the short-term performance and dependent variable with accumulated abnormal return, and we use the 5 days window. we just follow the prior study and to test and find the same result with the prior study. It doesn't make sense for us because merger acquisition naturally is a positive signal to target firm in the market. Definitely will improve the target firm's market value in the stock market. So it really makes sense for us. So I'm also questioning the prior study. They use the short-term cumulative abnormal return as dependent variable to measure post-performance is reasonable or not reasonable. I do think it's not reasonable because it has a lot of noise about merger acquisition, this information's effect to the market. We also find the same result with the prior study. If it is a big fall, shared auditor is a big fall, it's a positive effect to the market value of target firm in 5 days time window. This result is a same with the prior study recently published in the top accounting journal. This publication only investigate if shared auditor were big fall, whether impact on the performance of merger acquisition performance. And they do find if a shared auditor is big fall, yes, performance was measured by the cumulative abnormal return, yes, and the positive effect. Okay, so that's our empirical result. It's a robust test that we still work on because of data. But we have a rough conclusion here. Shared auditor damaged the shareholders' value of target firm in a long-term perspective. The loss of shareholders' value could be financial result or control rights in the merged company. And second, we conclude that shared auditor has a positive relationship to target firm's market performance in short-term perspective. Yeah, it's a same result findings with prior study. I would like to share more ideas about our implication. That's the reason why our paper was not published. Implication to stakeholders. Actually, the choice of shared auditor provided a rethinking opportunity to CPA firm. The opportunity would result in shared auditors' ethical dilemma, they greedy or ethics because their position advantage in the social network. Shared auditor would benefit from strategic choice to ethical dilemma response. When I prepare these slides, and I use this triangle, just want to let you know, CPA, if it's shared auditor, CPA take the structure whole standards position. CPA firm have opportunity to lay on this side or lay on this side. Depends on in reality, depends on which the bid offer from which part. It's benefit them. That's our implication to reality and legislation. That's what I want to share much more. Application to legislation, SEC, they should enforcement of separation of CPA from services in merger acquisition transaction, like SOX and do the Frank Act. That's why I said that our simple, or the other literatures, existing literatures simple stopped in 2007. Because 2008, we have a financial crisis there, and this law was issued by Capitol Hill, asked the investment bank, I think David knows, investment bank have to separate their investment bank services from normal bank services. That's law. Before this law, the bank can provide the investment bank services and the normal bank services, like checking, deposition, saving, mortgage, loan. Because of Lehman Brothers bankruptcy lessons, the Capitol Hill issued this law, said, okay, the banks, you should separate these two services. Otherwise, it's very risky. The similar situation is here. We should ask the CPA firm to separate their merger acquisition services from the separation of CPA firms' services in merger acquisition. We mandatorily required target firm and acquiree firm to hire different CPA firm, not shared CPA firm. Just like SOX did and this Dodd-Frank Act did. And we also have application to ICPA because should supplement the regulated articles on CPA firms' duty in merger acquisition services by ethical perspective. By ethical perspective. I don't want to show this picture, but I do. We cannot completely count on CPA firms' ethics in any business transaction or business activity. We need law and ethical principles also supplement this problem. I think this picture was not welcome. Numbers tell the story, folks. Once you reward accounting firm for lying, wonderful things happen. The same thing is here because shared auditor provide the opportunity to CPA firm to higher bargaining power to two parties. That's a reality. They did. So we cannot completely count on the CPA firm's ethics. We need more law and regulations on this activity. That's our research, and I think I just throw the bricks to everybody. And I know this is my idea and application not welcomed and popular by CPA firm, because I already talked this story to CPA firm. They said, no, Jidong, you talk wrong. We are very ethical, and we did very on duty. So if you look at the prior study, and if your conclusion application are positive, easy to be accepted, and if my paper result is negative effect and not popular and welcome even in conference. So last one, I just acknowledgement in this. This paper is very hard. I update the data set in past 15 years. I use Chinese data, Hong Kong data, and because I use Chinese data and Hong Kong data, I submit my paper, and the reviewer and the journal and the conference said, okay, you're just the Chinese story, nothing to do with us. So I use the Hong Kong data. Then recent version, I use the American data and the European data. So still work on these two data to sell our idea and story. I'm really appreciate ORSP's fund. These students, Mr. Zhang Xie, he helped me to clean the data, collect a lot of information, literatures. And I also thankful my department colleagues, David. They help help me to complete this research. Especially thank my colleague Mark Elf and Brad Dobson. These two wonderful colleagues helped me to process data, American database fact set. Okay, so this research was still in a baby. So it still was a baby, I think. In the methodology and the data samples, I know not so perfect. We still work on that, and we just threw our bricks to everybody and hope get valuable comments from everyone and help us to improve our research. Thank you.
So there is one question from a remote attendee. Jidong, if you don't mind repeating the question from, of course, read the question here, but if there are questions from the live attendees as well, repeat the question because so that everybody can hear it. Can you see the question?
Oh, yeah. This question from my colleague, Bill. And his question is, what percentage of merger acquisition deals share the same CPA firm represent both sides in deal? That's a great question. So far, I did not present my descriptive analysis result because you guys see the information, CPA firms information disclosure in merger acquisition is voluntary. So we have not, we tried to identify each transaction and identify each CPA firm. Currently in our sample, there are only 33% transaction shared the CPA firm in the merger acquisition. And the interesting finding is in this 33 shared auditor transaction, Big Four occupied 90%.
So related to that question, so your overall sample, 33% of overall sample is shared CPA funds.
Yeah.
So it's more than 1/3. Then it's a lot, I guess. And my question is, I guess you're talking about the real estate market,
Yeah.
right? Then I think it's a slightly different, in my opinion, because in the real estate market, the seller and buyers, they have incentive to hire their own agent. So seller hired agent to search for the homes they like to buy, right? The buyers have to, seller will sell their homes, so they have to hire the broker, and the buyers is searching for a house using the real estate agent. But in the merger and acquisition, why target companies, they hire the agent in the first place because they are not on sale like a house, the housing market.
They sell themselves.
So they are not, so they publicly express they're going to sell their companies. Otherwise, they don't. I guess the only reason why they hire the agent is because they want to sell themselves. If they want to sell themselves, then they want to increase the probability of selling themselves. Then it makes sense to me that they hire the shared CPA firms so that they can make a deal.
Yeah, David, that's a great question. Basically, in merger acquisition transaction, if target firm received a bid offer, they usually will evaluate their offers is reasonable or not reasonable. At this time, target firm intend to not only hire CPA firm. In the merger transaction, I just explained the CPA firm. Basically, in reality, merger acquisition transaction, they will not only hire CPA firm. They all hire the lawyer firm. And here, acquiree hire CPA firm, hire lawyer firm, target firm also hire CPA firm and lawyer firm. And to evaluate or assess this merger acquisition transaction. Target firm did not make any decision before they received the offer. When they receive the offer, actually, they also have no decision whether sell them or not. So they would like to hire CPA firm and lawyer firm to help them to estimate this transaction, estimate this offer, and then make the decision. That's why I said strategic choice. Sometimes in our society, principal agent phenomenon very popular. We usually meet a question or issue problems. We would like to hire the professional help us to assess the decision or options. So for target firm, that's very makes sense. They hire CPA firm to assess the acquiree's offer. And what we see in reality is acquiree provided the offer, they will hire CPA firm. This CPA firm, this target firm and acquiree firm are very open. When the acquiree sends the offer, to the target firm and hire their own CPA firm and lawyer firm. Target firm are very welcome CPA firm and the lawyer firm from acquiree to visit their office and to do field work, to do anything, assess their value. And for the acquiree firm, they are also very open. Target firm hire their own CPA firm and a lawyer firm and organize their merger acquisition team to go into the acquiree firm to do some field study. That's very popular services, lawyer firm, CPA firm and lawyer firm during the merger acquisition transaction.
Yeah, so target firm hire the CPA after they got an offer from the acquirer. Right?
My experience is if they are a public company, they usually have their related CPA firm as the consultant. So as they got this offer, just like a lawyer, they will consult the CPA firm's advices. Next, that's good question. Next level research, we will move. We want to strengthen our conclusion, and we already locate the fees. The target, the price target paid to the CPA firm, and acquiree firms pay to the CPA firm. We now locate this fees and to strengthen our conclusion. Who paid much more? Maybe we have interesting funding. Yeah. Thank you.
Some project acquisition story, target and acquire might not be in the same industry. So, for example, the acquirer is thinking about expanding business because I experienced two companies in China. One is making clothes. Another one is a data service company for advertising online. So if the A company making clothes want to acquire the B company, which is the online company for the online advertisement, dealing with data management. So the A company want to take advantage of the technology in B company, but it's not good at evaluating the business of B. So it's better for A and B both have their evaluator and CPA firms.
Thank you, Lin. Thank you for explanation. Question?
Just so that colleagues are aware, is slightly past 12:50. So obviously, if folks have time, keep the discussion going. I just don't know what your time commitments are.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. So, but for folks who need to move on to the next commitment, I think you should feel free to do so. So thank you, everybody, for your participation. Please come back next week.
Thank you.
Thank you to
Thank you,
our
everybody. Thank you.